Hi. Hi. Let me get the music. 1 second. I can't find it. 1 second. Hi, chat. How you doing? How you doing? Where is she? There she is. There we go. Hello. 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 Oh, my door's not closed. 1 sec. Ugh. Hi. Oh, I've got 2 fractals. That wasn't meant to happen. How we doing? How we doing? You like the skirt? Thank you. It's incredibly warm in the UK today. My dad's on the phone. It's incredibly warm in the UK today, but we are here. We're doing Ooee. It's so humid in my office. It is also humid in my dad's house where he is. So we're gonna be some sweaty people today. But we're doing Ooee and we're talking about things that are spooky scary. Oh, it's Brat eye makeup. Is it focused? Hi Marissa, it's Brat. It's kind of showing. It's green. It's green. It's a green color. It's more green in person. Oh no, my dad's camera has just died. There we go. He's back. It's not like when I'm not there. How warm is it? It's actually not that hot temperature-wise today. It's only about 23, but it's just very, very humid because a storm's going to come in tonight. The storm's going to come in tonight. But yeah, my dad and I will be doing an Ooee today. This would have been a Pixel Riffs episode, but Mr. Pixel Riffs is still in the United States, and we didn't fancy doing a cross-ocean Ooee. So my lovely father is going to be on Ooee, and we're going to be talking about spooky, scary things today. Because me and my dad both quite like horror films. Nothing that's going to scare you. We're not going to watch any scary clips. We're not going to do anything like that. But we'll be talking about ghouls and ghosts and horror films and maybe spooky experiences that have happened to us. Just because, why not? It's my dad likes that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm going to go switch over chat. I'm going to go say hello to my father. Hang on, I need to undeafen. So, oh, I have undeafened. Papa. You're here now.
Anyway.
Oh, he's on the phone. Hang on.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, Nigel.
Is he pretending to be on the phone? I can't tell if he's pretending to be on the phone. I think he's pretending to be on the phone. Were you pretending to be on the phone?
No, I was definitely on the phone to Nigel Farage just then.
Oh, I cut out. I deafened again when you said Nigel. I thought, I thought it was real because you started running the bit before I'd undeafened, so I couldn't hear you.
I didn't. I was just holding my phone up so that I didn't suddenly, as you came to me, I just went, oh yes, I'll pretend to be on the phone. And then you ruined it.
I'm sorry.
What kind of daughter are you?
I don't know. Who raised me?
Your mum.
No. You're on an episode of Ooee. I'm going to turn you up a bit. There we go. There we go. Ooee. Before you can actually do an episode of Ooee, you have to pass the Ooee test. So could you please state your name for the tape? Please do not include your last name.
My name is Richard.
Yeah. Could you
also
please...
known as Papstick Official.
Yeah. Could you please state your occupation? Please do not include where you work.
For the government, secret agent, also known as IT manager.
Yes, correct. Well done. You know your own job. What is something that makes you go ooey, but in a good way? So something you really enjoy.
Laughing at things, humor.
Humor. Okay.
Yeah, doing jokes, but having them interrupted really badly to ruin the whole joke. That's what I really like.
Okay.
Really
what's something that makes you go ooey, but in a bad way? So you really hate it.
My current appearance. Yes, I apologize for everyone, to everyone, because I was supposed to have a beard trim and a haircut last week, but I had to cancel it because of COVID. So I'm currently looking like an incredibly sweaty hobo. Although I might just, you know,
Lean
switch
into
that
it.
up and sort of lean into it. Yeah, I might just start not washing for a week.
Yeah, sounds good. No, you did say. You
Mm,
did say. What is one word you would?
pheromone maxing.
What is one word you'd use to describe me?
Uh, daughter.
That's good. Yeah, daughter works. You could use daughter works. Yeah. Okay. Rate me on a scale of 1 to 10.
What's the scale of?
Just
This is an indefined scale. I mean, 9.5.
all right. Yeah.
But you can now change the scale to be like, how stinky are you, or how brilliant
Oh,
are
I'm
you?
not
Because
that stinky.
this is a path.
No, I wouldn't change it to that 'cause I'm not that stinky. Oh, the fractal on the screen's
Okay,
doubling
fair
up.
enough.
1 sec.
The
It's
what?
because I added it. It's a overlay.
Oh.
Okay, well done. You've passed the Ooee test. You can officially be on an episode of Ooee, like you are right now.
Right.
We're doing one right now. There's no
By
time
the
to
way,
wait.
if you can hear any clanking in the background, that's my stepson, who has decided to make dinner just as we start doing this.
Don't worry. We can't, to be fair, actually. It's
That's
not.
all
It's
right.
not too bad. I've put the filter. Yeah, I've made you too orange. I've made you too orange. I'm just gonna fix that.
McDonald.
I'm just gonna fix that a bit. Yeah, there you go. You look a bit more normal now. I've made you a bit too orange. Sorry about that. We're going to talk about spooky, scary things today, like ghosts and scary films and stuff like that, because we like that kind of thing. We have morbid curiosity. Do you believe in ghosts? You don't believe in ghosts.
I believe 100% not in ghosts. No, I don't believe in ghosts at all. I don't believe in anything supernatural. Sorry to all the people out there who do, but I don't. And that's because I believe in truth and reality.
Do you not have? Do you think at any point in your life believed in ghosts, like as a kid?
Oh
Even?
yeah, yeah. When I was a child, yeah,
So
yeah.
what made you stop believing in
Um,
ghosts?
I think I grew up.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be your answer.
Yeah. No, I think as a kid you're quite open to lots of ideas, and then I think as you get older, not that you become more cynical. I think as you learn more about how the world works and reality and stuff, you just kind of go, well, that's highly unlikely, and there's actually no evidence of it whatsoever. And I tend to believe things based on an evidence thing. But let's not get into this whole kind of like, well, what is evidence though? How do you know that it's not all made up? And are NASA faking the moon and things like that? Because
We're just talking scary stuff. Becky's here, by the way.
stuff.
Becky, I went to school with, is in chat.
Oh, hello, Becky.
Have you ever had a ghosty experience, or just a spooky, like a scary experience that if you believed in ghosts, you'd be like, oh, that was a ghost?
I think probably the closest, and I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've mentioned this on your streams before. I think the closest I've ever come to that was when me and your mum had just got married, and our
Oh my
honeymoon
gosh, yeah, you have
was
told me this.
Yeah, our honeymoon was in a little wood log cabin in the middle of nowhere in Somerset because we were so loaded with money. And on one of the nights, obviously you were a baby at this point because we did the bad thing and had you before we got married.
Yeah, yeah.
And
of course.
you were sleeping in it. We had a bedroom, and you were sleeping in a cot at the foot of the bed, but there was a big window above your cot. And one night, I was just closing the curtains, putting you to bed, and I looked. Oh, and the pretext of this is the week before I'd watched the Blair Witch Project.
Which, if you don't know,
if
is
anyone...
about... Yeah, no, you explain. You'll explain better than me.
Well, it's about 3 people go missing in the woods, and then they go missing in the woods, and it's a found footage film. It's probably one of the first found footage films that ever existed. With that in mind, I was just closing the curtains, and all you could see out the back of this like log cabin was long, tall grass. And I could have sworn, and I swear that I did see a torchlight in there, and then the torchlight moved and then went off. So it wasn't really spooky, but it was very threatening. So I didn't know what that was. Obviously, I didn't think it was any ghost or supernatural thing. I thought it was probably someone with a torch, but it was very worrying because we were the only people there. But then that was compounded by your mum getting toothache, and in the middle of the night she couldn't sleep, so she went into the other room to try and get some sleep, and then woke up having a night terror, screaming the place down. And I woke up also then in terror
Mm.
to the sound of your mum screaming, and also waking up in totally unfamiliar surroundings because we were on holiday and thinking, where the hell am I? So, but yeah, again, that was not spooky in any way, but it was damn scary. I think
What
the only other
about
spooky thing I've had. Go on.
what about when I was little and you heard me crying in the night and you woke up to see me just pointing in the corner of the
Well,
room
that
and
was
crying?
terrifying. Yeah, that was terrifying. But I didn't for 1 minute think it was down to anything spooky. I knew that was because you had a fever. Um, I tell you what is weird. Okay, so here's one thing actually, which I've never been able to explain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've read somewhere that this happens. It can happen in children as their brains develop. What are you laughing at? What do
Gene
you think
says,
it's going to
Gene
be?
asked, do you cry more as an adult or as a child, Hell?
Oh
The
Christ, way
answer is
more as an
as a
adult.
child. I was a right crybaby growing up.
Oh, oh yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cry way more as an adult. I can't believe I said adult as well. I'm not American. Adult. Anyway, what was I saying? What was I saying?
One thing you can't explain, something about children's brains
Oh yeah,
developing.
when I was a kid, right? Um, when I was probably about 5 or 6, I used to sleep with the curtains partially open because I couldn't stand being in the dark. Um, so my mum and dad would leave the curtains about sort of that far apart, just a
Yeah.
little bit. And every morning for a couple of days, when I open, sort of look out the window, I could see like a face, and it was
Ah!
but I was happy. It didn't bother me. It was like an angel's face, or what a 6-year-old might think an angel's face looks like. And I still don't know what the hell that was. I'm convinced it's not an actually angel, but I have read things about where your developing brain can sort of see these things and just think like. But it didn't scare me. It
See,
was
that I
just
hate that
there,
because one
and
of
it
my
was
biggest fears is like looking over to the window and seeing a face in the window. Like
what like you,
even now, the only reason I don't get that so much now is because there are street lights on the opposite side, so I can see everything out my window. But growing up in the room I
well.
grew up in at home, it's obviously quite dark out there, and sometimes I'd be hanging out in my room and I'd be like sat on the floor, and then every now and then I just get this creeping feeling of, oh my god, if I turn around, is there going to be a face there? And then obviously I'd turn around and there wouldn't, but the idea of a face in the window really scares me. And I don't know why, because it's not like anything would happen. But I
Well,
saw a face growing up. It was when we just moved.
yes, well, I
Um,
was about to say that because I remember you waking me up at about 6 in the morning or half 6 or whatever, with you screaming your head off in the bathroom
there
because
were two
you'd
things.
seen a face. Oh, okay.
No,
Well, I
no,
was
that
also
was
going to say, but you'd like it even more now because they turn the street lights off here at night,
hate that.
so it's completely pitch black.
Becky says a lot of the hospital rooms, she works in a haunted, people see little kids in the rooms, which Nana, your mum, said that she heard children when she was in a care
Yeah,
home.
but then if you ever said to her that, do you think that was a ghost?
She
She'd
would
just go,
say
for
no,
God's sake, no, it was not a ghost. It's probably some kids that are actually were here, or
which
like,
is funny
I
because
don't
her
know,
side of the
whatever.
family is a lot more superstitious. And yet she
Yeah,
is
they
just
are
like,
very
no.
superstitious.
She's like, no, that's
Well,
stupid.
yeah, like my cousins all claim they've seen stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
And when I was little, one of the earliest things they told me was they had like an uncle, and they'd seen knives coming out of the floor. Um, again,
Knives coming
uh,
out of the floor.
yeah, like just rising out the floor. Why knives? And
Uh-huh.
they didn't specify whether they were butter knives or carving knives or bread
Bread
knives
knife.
or anything or a
What
machete or anything. It was just knives in general.
the thing you mentioned and the other one was when we first moved. We in my parents' house, the attic originally was like a playroom, and it was also a storage room. So you had a lot of boxes in the back of the attic. It was to convert it into a room. It wasn't like a loft. And I went up one time because I went to go and get something, I think from my brother, and I went up there. It was the middle of the day. I had no reason to be scared. And I went up and I was looking around for something, and as in the corner of my eye, at the very back, there's a little cubby bit that sort of goes around a corner. Amongst the boxes, I swear I saw a face, and it looked so much like a zombie face from Call of Duty Zombies as well, and it scared the life out of me.
Call of Duty Zombies
Probably. And I was so scared. For like the next year, this is before it became a bedroom. For the next year, I hated being up there alone. I did not want to. The one you remember was when I woke up before school, and for some reason I used to wake up so early. And it was about 6 a.m, 6:30, and I was very tired, and I'd gone for a shower, and there we go. Sorry, my Spotify had shut the music off. I'd gone for a shower, and while I was in the shower, I heard a knocking on the window. And it happened the first time, and then it happened again. And I absolutely screamed the house down. I was terrified. I didn't necessarily know if it was a ghost or if it was because there was a ledge outside the window, and I was like, oh my God, is there someone there? And you came rushing out thinking I was hurt. And I was I was like, oh, someone knocked on the window. And you were like, right, okay. Yeah, I can't remember what you actually said. You just had to calm me down. I think
Probably said USA.
But yeah, I think those are the only two scary things that have happened. Nana in her final months accidentally said some creepy stuff, but I think, yeah. Do you remember when we were looking out the window and she kept going on about the man at the bottom of the garden?
Oh, yeah.
And then the things she said to Andrew.
What did you say to Andrew?
When he went to go leave. He was visiting her, and he went to go leave. Mm-hmm. And then as he went to go leave, she just went, well, what about the man standing behind you? And then he looked behind him and there was nothing there. Which is really creepy.
She was also on quite a lot of morphine at the time.
Yes. So, she absolutely was. It was nothing super... Well, I think if you were someone who believed in superstition, you'd be someone who'd be like, oh, that's them. They're seeing the other side because they're towards the end of their life. It's like, no, it was probably
people
the
calling
drugs.
To you.
Yeah.
I tell you, when I was little, right?
The chat's saying that she did it to have a laugh and was taking the mick.
That's definitely something I would do.
Yeah, I don't know if Nana would have done that. You would, 100%.
I would definitely do that. Yeah, I'll be like, get you back for that time you're ill. No, when I was a child, I had a book called like the Usborne Book of Ghosts and stuff. There was a company called Usborne who made loads of these books, and they did like planets and things like that, all about like how stuff works. And they had a great one all about like monsters and ghosts and stuff. I loved that book, and there was a couple of things that really freaked me out. So I remember there was this one book. It's not that book actually, but it was a different one I got out of the library, and it had a picture of some clouds, and it was supposedly taken by like someone in a Lancaster bomber in the war. And in the clouds there was like the shape of Jesus like waving like that, but like kind of not like literally like hi, I'm Jesus or whatever, but it was like just the clouds. And obviously that could one thing, it could have been an entirely manipulated photo, but secondly it could just be the way the clouds were. But it really freaked me out as a kid. And I don't know why, it was just really creepy. I think it was a sort of blank expression, him sort of like going, hello.
I think there was a similar one that I saw as a kid, and it was the picture of the soldiers, and this very old picture from like World War II, and their friend I think they were pilots, and their friend had just died. And then in this picture that they took shortly afterwards, you can supposedly see his face behind between their shoulders. And it's quite clear as day. And that picture scared the life out of me. I hated that picture. It scared me so, so much. But I also kind of loved that kind of media. I love spooky, scary stuff. Even though I don't think ghosts exist, I get very scared still by the idea of them, which is very I get very, very creeped out very easily. So Alpaca in the chat is talking about kids who tell detailed stories of their past lives. Isn't
Yeah,
that what
they're
some of
just
the
making
family
it up.
said as well? That they knew stuff about a relative and
Yeah.
stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, it was one of the kids, one of my cousin's children, whatever that relative that makes them. I don't know. Niece, is it? No, it's not.
Something like
Whatever.
that.
One of their kids. Yeah, they said some phrase which they like my granny used to say, and my granny died when I was 2, so there was no way she could have ever met her. And I just think like things like that. I just think that someone has accidentally said it somewhere, or
Mm,
somewhere along the line has said that phrase without even thinking, and because they've not sat down to the kid and gone, "Hey, this is the phrase." They've just said that phrase in passing. The kids remembered it and then said it at some point. But because I mean, if someone said, "Right, tell me everything you said yesterday," there's no way you'd be able to remember. And a lot of these phrases that the kids sort of heard are sort of phrases that our family would use.
yeah.
So I would never argue the case with them because, but I just think that's what happened, I guess. I'll tell you what, one of the things that really freaked me out as a kid, and I was talking to my brother about this recently because we both remember it. There was a story in one of the papers. I think it was probably the Daily Mirror or something like that. And it was when back when this country had a mining industry.
Yeah.
Look it up, kids.
I'm now the mining
When people
industry that exists in the UK. It's me.
That's
It's the
true, yes.
Minecrafters.
The Minecraft industry, yeah. Back in the days when people actually went into real mines to dig up coal, which is what used to mostly used to burn to provide energy for the country. So people, I mean, I can't believe I'm having to explain coal mining. So people used to literally go down into
Yeah.
tunnel down to the ground and dig out coal. They were all underground in pitch black, and they used to carry little lamps with them, called Davy lamps, right? And there was one story about this miner who was on his own and in the pit, and he shone his light into the darkness, and he saw a miner wearing mining equipment and clothing from like about 100 years ago. And he had no facial features. It was just a blank
Oh.
face. Ah, and even now it's making me creeped out. And it was like the concepts of that, like no facial features. It's freaky as hell.
Well,
And it's just
that's
like, oh,
that's one of the things that I think there's something really creepy about. I think faces being messed up. And I
mm,
distinctly remember a few Doctor Who episodes. There's the one with Silence in the Library where when Donna gets attacked by something or she gets turned into that thing, she meets this woman who's a widow. And when she's dressed in all black and she's got this black veil on. And when she lifts her veil, you see that her face is all warped. And if you look at it now, it's like someone's gone on Photoshop and used the distort thing and just twisted her face. As a child, that was terrifying. And the other one was The Empty Child with
oh
the
yeah, are
gas
you
masks.
my mummy?
I mean, you'll remember when that was on, I ran upstairs and
Oh,
hid
I
in the
do. Yeah, yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
But I
And then
think
I
there's
stood outside the
something,
bathroom going, "Are you my mummy?"
yeah, because you're a horrible dad. Um, but there was something about it was the scene when the
Yeah,
face changed. The like not the doctor, but a doctor who was in the scene. Like his face starts turning into it, and it's like I think there's something really creepy about that with like someone's face
well,
just being wrong because I suppose that's how we recognize everything and also how we identify if something is human or a threat. So when that is kind of all messed up, it's so creepy. It's like
yeah. Well, there's two things. So one, there's a film from the 70s called The Stepford Wives, not the sort of remake with Nicole Kidman, which was done as a kind of comedy. The original one was really creepy. And it's about a sort of town where all the women are very subservient to the men.
mm.
Paradise, I think it's called. Uh,
He's joking,
and
by
they all
the
get back
way.
in the kitchen. Get back in that kitchen, love. Ain't my dinner. No, say I'm joking, obviously, yeah. Um, and there's this one bit where I think I'd never actually watched the whole film, but there's this one bit at the end where this person walks into this room and there's a woman sitting there, and she turns around and her eyes are completely black, and it's just
Mm.
so freaky and the way it's done. And there's that and Ringu, which is the Japanese version of The Ring, which is the far inferior American version of the original Japanese film.
Yes.
In that, there's basically it starts off, and of course, because it's like pre-internet age, it's all like videos and instant photos. And there's a picture of someone, and any time that someone gets marked for death, you look at the picture of them, and they've got a
Oh
really distorted
yeah.
face on the picture, and it's so freaky. Even though, like you say, it's just someone that just in effect used the blur tool or whatever, or the sort of the warp tool, the distort tool. But it's so freaky when you
Mm,
first see it, and that whole film. I mean, that whole film itself. Like I said, I don't believe in ghosts or anything, but like you say, when you still react to things like that. So when I first saw that film, oh man, I had to leave the landing light on that night when I went to sleep because it was just the concept of having to get up in the middle of the night and walk across the landing in the dark to the bathroom was just like, no thanks, you know. Oh, that's sparked a random memory. So when I was still living at mum and dad's, I'm talking when I was about like 20 odd here, not
yeah.
sort of like when I was younger. A couple of times when I walked across the landing, I could have sworn there was like a camera flash that went off. Oh, I don't know what the hell that was.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
and I don't know
know.
what it was, and we only had one window on the top of the landing, but it was a frosted glass window. So I all it probably was like the sun, you know, as I walked past, the sun kind of
Yeah,
glinting
yeah.
really strongly. But it was weird, and that again, things that you can't explain. But see, for me, when people have things they can't explain, that doesn't mean to say they're supernatural. It just means we don't understand it yet, and we haven't found the answer yet.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I don't believe there are such things as ghosts, and I don't believe in a soul or spirits or anything like that. Sorry,
No,
I'm
that's okay.
soulless.
No, I also remember you talking about that the episode of Doctor Who with the TV steals your face, and they're
Yeah.
downstairs and they're like, oh yeah, my gran, she's sick, and you can hear her walking and she's getting all like her thuds are getting louder, and the doctor goes upstairs and it's just this gran in the bedroom pacing and she's got no face, and that was really I think I feel like that era of like someone I think it was Candy actually asked earlier like do we prefer supernatural horror or more grounded horror, and I actually think that era of Doctor Who did some really, really, really good horror that wasn't necessarily like, there's a ghost and it's demonic and it's gonna
Mm.
eat you. It was Jean's saying it sounds like I fear old people. I don't. She had no face. I'm sure she was lovely. She just had no face. I didn't
You
like the
love
fact
old
she
people
had no
songs that have
face.
features.
Yeah, it's if they've got no face, I don't like them. But I feel like it did some really, really good, like suspenseful horror, like the Weeping Angel episode. That was really, really scary. But at the same time, it
Mm.
wasn't anything that was like, oh, it's a ghost. It's it's someone who's dead. It was just horror in something that was
But I
wrong
think
and a
most of the
threat.
effective horror things like that are quite simple things that they just tweak reality slightly into
Yeah.
being something creepy, into something that couldn't happen in a normal world. Therefore, the whole world that you're in is unsettling. But that's where the sort of horror comes. It's like with like the Shining, which is one of my favorite
I was
films. I
about
know
to
you
bring up
really
The
like The
Shining.
Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole concept of that, I mean, irrespective of the concept, but the way it's done, the little touches, like the fact that when Danny meets the two girls,
Oh,
like just little things like that, because
oh,
there's nothing actually wrong with the two girls. They're not horrifying or anything. They don't
no.
look horrifying. They're just two girls, twins in dresses. But the fact that they're there when you know they shouldn't be is creepy, and that
Yeah.
makes you then question the whole world you're in and just all the little things like that, and it's just and that to me, The Shining is just a great film, the way that it's that again is a perfect example of a suspense film done really well because it doesn't overdo it, and it's like it always used to annoy me when you get suspense films when there's supposedly like a monster or something, because all the suspense comes from not seeing something because it's the unknown. The
Mm.
minute you show something, you then run into the territory of being potentially laughable models or CGI or whatever. I mean, Cloverfield, for instance, is a good film
Yeah.
because you don't see the monster until you see bits of it, but you don't see the whole thing until right at the very end. But you see the effects of it.
I would say someone in chat said The Shining bored them, and I think The Shining is. I wouldn't necessarily just say The Shining is scary. I would say it's creepy. It's
It's creepy,
two
yeah.
hours of just being like, oh, this is something's not right here. Like, and it's only really in the last like 10 minutes that anything like action scary happens.
Yeah.
The bit that I think is really horrible is when I mean, this is obviously spoilers, but the film's been out for 40 years, so with the old woman in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Well, she starts off as a sexy lady in the bathtub, and then she turns into an old woman in the
Sexy lady.
bathtub. And That's what I hate. That's why I love The Shining. I mean, it's the same thing of like
Or for the naked ladies,
no, no, the lots of
the moldy old
small
women. Again, old women. You've
no,
definitely got a thing going on here.
no. It's
You
the
only like old
small.
women
Oh
when they're
my god,
moldy
you
or
get
got
off
no
the show.
face.
Get off the show. It's just that I don't fear old people. Um,
Got an issue with them.
I don't fear old
I was
people
just gonna
unless they're.
say I was just gonna say with The Shining, the thing is that's the thing. It is, if you don't feel the tension from it, I suppose it could be a really boring 2-hour film. But that's the whole thing with The Shining, is it makes you feel uneasy right from the
Yeah.
start. There's something off about it, and if you don't feel that, then you won't get the film because you won't feel uneasy. And that's the thing with The Shining. The whole thing just makes you feel uneasy. And yeah, not much happens. But the fact that not much is happening when you're feeling tense is even worse because then you're waiting for something to
Mm,
happen. And that's exactly why I always preferred Ringu, or as you know, or Ring as it's called, to the American remake. Because the original, if you watch the American version and then you watch the original, the Japanese version is so slow and you feel like not much is happening, but
mm,
it's because you've got that underlying feeling of weirdness and tension and creepiness that you don't need much to happen because each little bit builds the creepiness more and more and then leads towards the end. It's like I've always said, it's like with Alien and Aliens. If you watch one of those films first, the other one is a disappointment.
mm,
Because if you watch Alien first, that's a very kind of slow, creepy, building the tension film. And then Aliens is an action film. Now, I unfortunately saw Aliens first, and then when I went to watch Alien, it was like, oh, this is boring. Nothing's happening because you're expecting an action film, but it's not. It's a tension film.
mm.
So if you go into it with the right expectation, but like I say with The Shining, if you don't feel the tension, then yeah, it will be boring. So
Yeah, I think the thing I find like I think tension for me is what makes something scary. It's tension and kind of uncanny valley. Something is
mm,
off, slightly off, and that I actually like. I think I would find the idea of like the two twins in the Shining versus like if they'd just shown a ghost. I think I mean technically the twins are implied to
yeah,
sort of be ghostly, but like if they'd shown a more traditional ghost that was kind of trying a bit transparent, I wouldn't have found that as scary. It's the like the completely normal thing that then becomes sinister. I think is much more
exactly. Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Um,
And this is why this is
Gene
go
has
on.
asked, would Papa Soup smash ET with a hammer or befriend it? This is on the back of
Um,
my one of my favorite tweets, which is me and my friends would have smashed ET with hammers. I'll tell you that. Hi, Sophie.
I yeah, I get the sentiment, yeah. Um, I think as a child, I'd just turn and run. I don't think I'd have
Uh,
gone anywhere near it. I mean, but even that, when I was a kid, so I went to see that when what it came out, what 81, 82.
mm.
So I'd have been 6 or 7. So when that came out, I went to see that as a child, and the first bit where they shine the light in its face, and it goes like that, scared the crap out of me,
Yeah.
literally. And but I didn't reach for my hammer.
Gene said I'd push it down a cliff to see what sound he'd make. That's just so dear me.
Uh, I want to know now. I want to know the sound of ET falling off a cliff.
Probably the same as when he shines the light.
Probably, yeah, but getting quieter and
Ooh,
quieter as he
have you seen
goes to the distance.
Ghostwatch, the classic British TV horror special?
Yes,
What's
yes.
Ghostwatch?
I remember. Oh, have you not know what Ghostwatch is? Oh
No.
wow. I see. I was being old. I remember when Ghostwatch was on the television back in the
Have a
day when we
look.
only
Have a
had 4
Google.
channels. Yeah. So Ghostwatch was a documentary that they did about this house that was supposed to be haunted by a ghost called Mr. Pipes. Now, it had real presenters on it. So it was presented by Sarah Green, who was the real presenter. It had Michael Parkinson on it, who was a well-respected interviewer, and he had
He's
like
a
his own
news
show.
guy, isn't he?
He wasn't a news guy. No, he
Oh.
was a chat show host. But he
Oh
was
yeah,
like
yeah. No, I
he
know who
was
you mean now.
really kind of famous for it, and he'd interviewed like Muhammad Ali and loads of celebrities and stars and everything. So it had genuine people doing it, and it was filmed as if it was real.
Mm.
was obvious it wasn't bloody real because it had ghosts in it, which don't exist. So that was the obvious thing. But it was a big controversy because someone actually, I think some kid killed himself or something. Because they'd watched it. I can't remember if they were autistic or something, but it basically really freaked them out, and they ended up killing themselves because they filmed it like it was real,
Right, okay,
and it
yeah.
was
So it
filmed over
had
about
some
2
pretty
nights or
dire
something.
consequences because
Yeah,
it
it was
really,
filmed
really
over, like,
scared this
2
person.
yeah, it was filmed over 2 nights, and I think the
Oh.
reveal came well, they didn't really reveal it at the end either. The end is actually, and this is where it got a bit silly. The end is Michael Parkinson sitting in a chair looking a bit mad, singing "Daisy, Daisy" really slowly directly towards the camera, and the whole thing had kicked off by this point. Like the ghost had gone mental, and like all there was loads of shaky camera work and stuff. But this again, this is in the days before shaky camera work was a thing, so it was all filmed like it was real. And as far as you knew, if you did believe in ghosts, you'd have probably believed that it had all gone horribly wrong and that people had died.
Oh,
And it was only
gosh.
really I don't think they even said at the end of the last episode that it wasn't real. They left
Right.
it. And that was the controversy, the fact that they didn't immediately say
That
this was just a
it
spoof.
was,
They had to then yeah,
I see.
it was, and so some people did believe it was real, and I think, like I say, some people it kind of really did freak them out, and I'm sure some person took their own life over it.
Oh, gosh.
Um, yeah, quite, and it was a big, big thing. But I think the problem is if you watch it, it's it's not convincing, you know.
No?
It's but again, you have to put it in the context of this is back when there was only 4 channels of entertainment.
Yeah,
So
true.
it was a big thing back then. So, yeah, Ghost Watch.
Oh,
It's yeah, it was a bit mad, that was. It was a bit mad, that was.
bit mad. What would you
Bit
find?
crazy.
What do you find creepier though? Like, I mean, I think we're probably in agreement. I don't necessarily. I find demons and the like and like little goblins and ghouls less creepy than I do. Um, I guess humans really.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well, yeah,
oh, if you the film is it, it's not the guy and he
Garfield,
wants to make a film
cat.
and so he invites the guy to it someone to his house. He puts an ad on the internet out and he's like, "Oh, come
Oh,
film me
Creep.
through Creep." Oh, hate
Yeah.
that film.
Yes, I have seen Creep.
Very good,
I
but
haven't watched the
that's
sequel yet.
no, I haven't.
But yeah, that's a very good film because you don't all the way through it, you're going, okay, so he is. Oh no, he's not. Oh yeah, he is. Maybe he's not. And then yeah, that was a good film. But no, I agree. I don't anything involving like monsters or goblins and things like that because I don't believe those things exist. Therefore, they don't really creep me out. Things that involve human beings that does creep me out
Mm.
because human beings do exist and there are lots of strange things that happen to human beings. I mean, there's a lot of illnesses and stuff which we don't understand. I mean, I just one of the things I do find really creepy is the amount of actual, well, I was going to say the amount of illnesses that you can get that are really odd. Like people have, like where they don't recognize faces.
Yeah.
People have like ailments where they don't recognize their own limbs, and that's things like that. The stuff that the human mind can can do is far more creepy than sort of
Mm.
like little ghosts and goblins and stuff.
Jeans asked, do you fear dolls or puppets? And the answer is yes, I think they're really creepy. I think marionette dolls are just outright terrifying. So I'll put a picture up on screen of a marionette puppet. I hate them.
Yeah,
They
marionettes.
are
Do you remember that
terrifying.
clip I sent
Yep,
you?
I'm a marionette puppet. Yes, I
I'm a
do. I
marionette
don't know
puppet.
why they're designed for children's entertainment, and yet they're the most
No, they're
terrifying
not.
things in the
They're not.
world.
They're not designed. They're designed to warp children's brains.
Try and find one that looks
But what I do
particularly.
love though is when you get one of these supposed puppets or one of these like dolls that's supposedly evil, and they have it, and they do a serious interview like they did on This Morning, and then apparently in the middle of the thing, the doll moves its hand, and it's like, right, okay, because there definitely wasn't someone pushing it or a bit of fishing wire or something pulling. It's like, come on.
I found one, but it's not particularly scary. You won't be able to see it because I'll just pop it on
Oh,
stream overlay.
it's good because I
Oh
won't
my!
get freaked out then.
Let
You're
me.
frozen.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's my PC is
That's
just
just
not
the
my PC
yes.
is just not happy with the temperature that the world is at right now. Oh my gosh!
No.
Please don't break.
Oh dear.
Okay, I think the image is too big. Okay. Well, we're not going to put a
It's the
picture on
puppet.
screen because
It's
I've
the
got a
puppet. The
haunted
evil
image.
powers of the
I've got a
puppet.
haunted image of a marionette puppet that is currently
It's
crashing my
haunting your
computer. Oh,
PC.
God, no. Okay, I found a different one. I found a different one that hopefully won't crash my computer. Haunted image, haunted image. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to have to do it as
No,
a
it's
new
not
image.
working.
We're going to have to do it as a new image source. See?
It's the power. The power of the marionette is too much for
They
you.
are haunted. Right, here we go. I've done a new source. Look at that. Again, you can't see this, but it's
No,
just
I can't.
horrifying. I hate them. I hate them so much. My PC is just having a day because it's very warm.
Yeah. No, the
My
feeling.
my curtains, Gene, are basically see through. Yeah, I hate puppets and dolls. I don't like it. The thing is though, I don't think that is more leaning into sort of ridiculous scary because it's the idea of, well, if it's going to harm me, it's like a little doll that's going to attack, and it's almost laughable. But I just think old timey toys in particular look very creepy. I
Here's
don't
something I was
like
going to
them.
mention. So I was just thinking about like how I think that when I was a child, there was much more creepy stuff on television than
Mm,
there is now. But that's possibly because obviously there isn't, again, there is more than 4 channels available. Who's going to make the content? But there was a series that when I was a kid called Dramarama, which was
mm.
basically like a series of like youth-made dramas. So it was drama for like, school kids.
Yeah.
And some of them were all right, some of them were a bit amdram. But they did a series called Dramarama Spooky, which was 6 ghost stories, and they were really good. They were
Mm.
really, really genuinely scary. And I'm trying to think, I was probably about 11, 12 at this point, so I'm not like a little kid. But these were genuinely creepy. And it was the first one was it was set in World War II, and they had this like girl who was there, and she was in this like classroom, and it was like the way it was done was really good, and it was like if you can find it, it's very dated now, but
Yeah.
it was just creepy. And there was also another sci-fi series called Sapphire and Steel, which
Yes,
was very
yeah.
strange.
I've seen episodes of that, and one of the
Yeah,
episodes scared the life out of me as a child because it was
is that
really
is that the one?
on
Is
the
that the one with the
platform.
ghost soldier? Yeah, on
Yeah,
the
hated
platform.
that.
Yeah.
Hated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that as a child. I saw that when I was probably about 6 or 7, and that freaked me out. Um, but I don't know. I just think that there isn't really. They don't treat kids. I think they don't give kids enough credit these days. I think kids can handle a lot, and kids like being scared.
Yeah.
They like because it's a heightened emotion. I
Well,
think.
I feel like when
So,
you're a teenager in particular, one of the first things a lot of people go off to try and sneak off to do is watch a scary film when their parents have gone to bed.
yeah, I remember one time when Ellie stepdaughter had friends over. And I found out that because all basically the she was living in the loft room by this point, but unfortunately that loft room is also where we were storing a lot of our other stuff, and it meant that a lot of my old DVDs were up there. So we found out that one night her and her friends had watched Saw 4, and she was 5 at the time. No, she wasn't.
No, she was not.
She was a teenager. Um, yeah, so but the thing is, I didn't do that because, like, again, it just sounds like it makes me sound so old. This we didn't even have like a video player till I was 16.
Mm.
That's not because the technology hadn't been invented. That was just my parents didn't want one. Everyone else had them when they were like sort of about 5 or 6. My parents
Yeah.
just didn't any need for a video recorder, so I couldn't watch films like that. The only ones I got to watch were if they were on telly, which back in those days, films were hardly ever on telly. Anything that came out of the cinema would be on telly like 5 years later. So, mind you, I did go to see Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when I was what? I would have been 9 when I saw that. And that's got like, people pulling hearts out and stuff and
Yeah.
people being burned in lava. So, and that totally didn't affect me. I totally didn't get my dad to build like the little cage out of copper wire that they dunk in the lava and then have it so I could put Star Wars figures in it. I definitely didn't do that.
No, definitely not. That does
No,
sound like something you would do.
it wasn't something I
Oh
did.
God.
Um,
Do you think that if would you if it turned out like ghosts exist, Would you want them to? Like, you don't believe in them, but if they did, would you like the idea that people from previous lives, including family members or anything, could therefore, I suppose, reach out to you? Or would you not like that? Or would you like the idea of ghosts existing? As someone who quite enjoys horror as a concept, do you think it would, well, would it remove the fun in horror because it's no longer a
I
potential,
don't
it's
know, because
real?
then it shifts ghost horror into a different area, because we're both saying that the sort of horror we prefer is basically human based, because that could happen in effect because it's based on real things, whereas like ghosts and goblins isn't. But if you then find out ghosts did exist, then that shifts that into the realm of things that do exist. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing that always kind of I found with like in Star Wars when
Mm.
they got Qui-Gon Jinn to come back as a Force ghost, and it kind of like felt a bit pointless. And it's like, well, what's the point in you actually dying then, in a sense, if you can literally just come back as a Force ghost and communicate exactly like you were sitting there normally? It's
Yeah.
like, well, so it doesn't really matter whether you're alive, dead, or whatever. You can still carry on and talk to people and interact with them, and you don't have to eat dinner. You don't have to think of what to have for dinner every night. It's like I just found it all a bit pointless. So I think in a way, if I found that like all ghosts exist and actually, yeah, you can just keep talking to people, yeah, fantastic. But at the same time, it kind of renders everything a bit meaningless. Really, it renders life meaningless.
If you could just carry on after it in a
Yeah.
different, would you
If
haunt
there's no
people?
kind of point where it stops, then it's like having a project with no deadline. Just get on with it whenever you want to do anything then.
Would you
Not that you
haunt
could go
people if you were a
skydiving as a ghost,
ghost?
but would I what, sorry?
Haunt people
Would
if
I
you were a
haunt
ghost?
people? Oh, hell yeah. I haunt them now as an adult. So I mean, you know me. You know damn well I'd haunt people.
Yeah, no,
I'd be
that's
all up
true.
in that stuff.
I think I'd like to be a helpful ghost and then maybe do the occasional trick. Like I'd mostly
I'd
help
be I'd
someone
be
in
a
their
fun ghost.
life. But then
Yeah, I'd be a
occasionally
fun
I'd
ghost.
I'd move their passport just before they were going to go on a trip or something. Like if they couldn't find something, I'd magically place it on the coffee table, but every now and then I'd mess things up, or I'd flick their TV on and off or make my face appear on it every now and then.
I think I'd just do stupid things like float things in front of people when they know it's me doing it, and I'd be like, "Ooh, it's a ghost." They'd be, "Yeah, we know. We could. You're there." And I'd be like, "Yeah, but it's a ghost. Ooh, it's spooky." They go, "We can see you doing it."
Ghosts in The Sims
So I'd just be
break
a stupid ghost.
break
Cool.
appliances. They come into your house, Ghosts in The Sims, and they break your appliances. They just
That
break
happens
your
in real
sink.
life, just before the warranty runs out,
Yeah.
or just
Yeah.
after it's run out, I should say.
I've not really played that many scary games, to be fair. I'm not a big.
No,
I'd much prefer
mind you,
scary horror content than scary
do you
movie
remember when I
content than.
used to play Silent Hill when
Yeah,
you were young?
yeah. I was
Yeah, I
about
should have been.
5.
No, you weren't 5, or were you? Oh, you can't have been. Oh, you probably
I
weren't.
was 5. I was
You probably
5 or
were. Yeah, I
6
probably should
because
have like not played that in
it was
front of you.
when Mum moved house. It was when Mum moved
Yeah.
house.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
and
have
you
done
used
that.
to let me sit and watch you play Silent Hill. I don't think Silent Hill is that scary of a game though.
Oh, it is creepy though. It's a creepy game. That's the thing, because
Yeah.
you can't see very far.
I should play
So
FNAF. I've played FNAF. I can't deal with it. It doesn't scare me. Five Nights at Freddy's is one where you are working the security guard shift of this kind of like Chuck E. Cheese place, but there's animatronic creatures that they kind of come
oh yeah, I
alive
know
at
what that
night.
is.
Yeah. I can't deal with Five Nights at Freddy's. And it's not the jump scares. The jump scares scare me. I've done it in VRG and I can do the mini games. I can't do the main room. It's not that the jump scares necessarily get me for a long time. They get me in that moment. It's the tension. The idea that if I'm not on it and checking everything all times and I could run out of power, that something's going to scream in my face. It's that I can't handle rather than the actual fright itself. The fright is fine. It's actually why there's a game called Phasmophobia where you're ghost hunting, which I can handle more because there's usually a lot more signs that something scary is about to happen and you can escape the situation by leaving the house. In Five Nights at Freddy's, you are sat, you cannot leave. It's literally like you just have the range to turn and press things. And that's why I can't play it because I get so stressed. I'm so stressed. My heart is just going and I'm like, I'm going to die. Even though I'm not actually, when the jump scare happens, I'm like, ugh, and then it's over. It's the tension of it.
What's what's the game? Have you seen the game? There's the game where I think you're supposed to have like survived a plane crash or something, but it's basically linked to your microphone and you can't make a noise.
Oh, I do want to play that because
That
I
looks
like the
really
game
good.
Outlast. I love the game Outlast. Outlast, you can link your mic. So Outlast is you're in an asylum, and it's sort of like it kind of is supernatural because the people in there are definitely affected in some kind of supernatural way. And you basically are trying to get like I think you're a news reporter trying to get information and photos, and you kind of break in and you have to make your way around, and you get chased by the people in this asylum, and you don't have a weapon, you can only hide. But your mic can be connected, so if you make a noise, it can affect whether they can find you or not. And that's one of my favorite games. It's really, really good. But Don't Scream, which is the one that you're on about, I think it's
Yeah.
that amplified. It's very reliant on your microphone. And I'm sorry, there's a fly in my face. I'm a yapper, and I'm not quiet when playing games, which I don't think I'd last very long in it. But I love that kind of game. And I don't know what the difference is. I think anything where I have the ability to run and potentially get away, I find much more interesting and more fun to play than anything where, like FNAF, where I have, I guess, technically the chance to prevent the thing from happening, but I can't run. If something's going to come at me, if my only option is to shut the door and I can't move, I can't make that situation better for myself in any way. It doesn't scare me more. I find the other things scarier, but it's such a stress response in me that I just hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. I much prefer being able to run away. Time and resource management is not my thing. Time management's fine. It's just resource management because I just want to shut the doors and deal with that. I don't like the fact that the doors have the ability to stop working. In Outlast, if you get
Oh,
chased and you shut a door, if it's they might not get you. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I like them as games, but not good. I think Silent Hill's the only one I remember you playing. You're big on horror films, but not anything scary game
yeah.
wise.
Well, it's like trying to find a decent horror game. I think I remember trying The Evil Within,
Mm.
and that looked all right, but it very quickly got boring. I think the problem is like it's very tough to do a decent scary game. I think it's
Yeah,
like because the film you've got no control over, so you're just watching it, and you just have to absorb what's happening. Whereas with the game, you're interacting, so it's
there's so many
harder
more
to make it stand
elements.
out. And jump scares are so boring. Jeez, jump scares are just like, can we stop doing those, please?
Yeah, you're not a big. You. That's why you don't like Paranormal Activity.
Oh, that's garbage, that film. It's utter garbage. And the sequels are even worse.
Yeah, it's all jump scare.
Yeah.
It's all just jump scare.
I mean, jump scares were fine when they first came out because they were a new thing, but then it's like 25 years later since like jump scares became a thing, really.
Yeah.
Can we stop doing them now? And what's even worse is the fake out jump scare. Where they go, "Oh, it's a jump scare. Oh, no, it's just their daughter or something. Oh, not really a jump scare."
Loki, it was also the
Oh,
first
come
horror film
on.
I watched. I think I watched Paranormal Activity and it scared me a lot when I was about 12, 13. But it's not
Mm.
actually that scary. It's just
No,
jump
and the problem is
scary.
the more you watch, the more you get used to them. I mean, it's like I watched a lot of like J horror and K horror, and it's
Mm.
like you get used to all that, and that stops being scary because again, the same things over and over again.
Jean's just brought back a memory. The OG jump scare was that car driving down the windy country road. Do you remember the
Oh
YouTube
yeah, that
video? That
one.
scared us so much as kids.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
that was funny.
remember? Probably the first thing that actually scared me was getting on the family computer, and for some reason, I don't know why I knew about the
Wasn't
film
me. I didn't
It.
do it.
I knew about the film It, and I searched up a clip from It, not the new one, obviously, because that came out when I was
The
much
original
older,
one.
but the original one from the 70s. 70s?
80s. No,
80s.
it was 90s actually.
Is it
It was
90s?
1990.
Well,
Yeah, it was
anyway,
1990, I think.
um,
Yeah.
and I found clips of that, and then I went to my mum's house, and I couldn't get to sleep and I was crying and she asked why, and then I said that I'd watched it on the computer, and I think Mum got quite annoyed at you for letting me. You didn't know. I'd
I was
clearly
gonna say.
searched it up when you like weren't in the room because I knew it was something I wasn't meant to be doing. I got really scared. Um, yeah, I didn't like that. That scared me. It's morbid. I had morbid. The thing is, I was such a scared child. I was very easily scared. But I have morbid curiosity, so I'd want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
the scary thing. But then the problem
Yeah.
is,
I
the
mean,
scary thing would turn me into an anxious wreck for 4 weeks. So it was a bit stupid, really. Um, it doesn't scare me as much now, but I definitely, if I've watched a scary show or a horror film, I don't like I don't like being in my bedroom by myself in the dark. I still don't like it. It's horrible.
when do you? There was that one time. I think I mentioned it last time I was on a stream with you, but I didn't really explain what it was. Right, where I got attacked by a statue.
Oh yeah, your dream, yeah.
I woke up, literally woke up, and sort of half awake, and I was lying on my side in the bed, and then I saw the door open, and then this sort of white marble statue was in the doorway, and then it kind of stumbled towards me really quickly, and I just remember sort of screaming, but in real life, obviously I didn't because I was half asleep, but I just went, "Bleh." My wife turns over and she went, "You all right? What was it?" And I went, "It was a statue." She went, "Oh, for God's sake."
uh, yeah.
Uh, that was scary.
Yeah, I think that's
That
scarier
was
than
a
some films. I'm now going to make you do a bit of Guess Who-ee, which I
Oh,
will.
okay.
I've chosen three ghosts from popular culture, um, and you have to guess who they are by the very brief description I give them. And so I'll usually do it where I'll give you like 2 clues, and then I'll give you like the final one that kind of gives it away.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is so no head, spine whip, got cowboy drip.
Spine whip. I mean, the only thing I can think of with no head is, I think it was his name. Johnny Depp played him. Oh God, I want to get his
Oh, are
name.
you thinking
Headless
about
Horseman thing.
Sleepy Hollow or something?
Yeah, yeah. I
No,
think.
no, no.
Yeah. Okay, carry on then.
Or Sweeney Todd or whatever it was.
No, not
Um,
Sweeney Todd. That was about the Demon Barber. No, it's the Headless Horseman. I
oh,
think it
that
was
is it.
called.
Yeah, it's the headless
Oh
horseman.
yeah,
The
I said
final
that.
clue was horse girl.
Oh,
He's a horse
okay.
girl. Okay, I'm gonna give
Okay.
you two this time. Bald, punchable face.
Me. No.
No,
What? This is a ghost?
yeah, and he's bald and
Casper.
it's Casper. Yeah, he's got a punchable little face. He looks like a marshmallow. Okay, the last one. First 2 clues are multicolored. 4 of them.
Uh, uh, the Four Horsemen of the
And it's
Apocalypse.
not the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Oh, who is it? I'm trying to think. Go on. Give me another
Uh,
clue.
okay. Waka 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 waka.
Oh, the Pac-Man
Yeah,
ghosts.
can you name them?
Pinky.
Oh, you
Uh,
can.
is it Pinky, Inky, Lala, and
No,
I can't remember the other two or three. I can't remember. Go on.
it's Binky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
That was it. A new one was like not the same as the others.
I don't know why that one's called Clyde. Okay, and then out of those, you have to kiss, marry, and kill. Keep in mind, Casper is a child, so kiss, marry, or
Well,
kill
I
the
only have
headless
the choice of
horseman,
killing him then.
Casper, and then the ghost Binky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde.
Hang on. So, well, I can't technically kiss the headless horseman because he has no head. Or did they have it under his arm though?
It's under his arm.
No, I'm going to marry them because they can't really talk back
What
and they
the
can't yap.
ghosts in Pac-Man?
No, the headless horseman.
Okay, okay.
Obviously Casper, I'm going to have to kill him.
Yeah, we
I can't
agreed he's
really
got a
kiss or
punchable.
marry a child.
No.
Yeah, I mean that those reasons kind of rule him out instantly, whether I liked his punchable face or not. So I would end up kissing the Pac-Man ghosts
Wow.
because yeah, especially Pinky.
Especially
So
Pinky.
yeah,
The hot one.
the way she looks at me. Yeah,
I like the
waka
way she's
waka
pink.
waka. Yeah, I
Okay,
like
well,
the way they
unfortunately,
flash on and off.
Casper is a ghost, so you can't kill him, and so he is just there hanging around in your house now, and he's kind of peeved at
Getting in my
you.
way of
He's
me and
now Casper
Pinky.
the unfriendly ghost because you have tried to kill him. Sorry about this. That's just how it goes.
I fell into that trap, didn't I?
Yeah, you did a bit. You did. Well, originally I wasn't going to do a kiss, marry, kill. Then there's a new. It's. I don't always include it because Beck and I, our topic was food. So you couldn't really do it.
Not really. And I
No.
think cryptids was one, wasn't it? So
Yeah. Well, we did
suppose you could do
aliens last
cryptids.
episode with Owen,
Oh right.
and his were E.T., the Slitheen, and the Xenomorph from Alien. I can't remember
Yeah,
what he
probably
said.
don't kill the alien because it'll punch through the back of your head.
I can't remember what he said. Oh no, sorry. That was his Guess Ooee. His Kiss, Marry, Kill was a Cyberman, Chewbacca, and Megamind. And then his response was to point out that Cybermen technically aren't aliens. And I was like, right, cheers, thanks for that.
I mean, you could say they are aliens because they're not of this world. They're from Telos.
Yeah, I had to
So
research
technically
this.
they are aliens, actually.
I think that's what I got him with in the end.
Ah,
Did Owen befriend? I don't think he smashed DT with a hammer. I don't think so. I don't think so.
to know.
Um,
Always good to know.
But we are at the end of the hour, and I would go on for longer, but I don't know about you, but my room is really, 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 really hot right now. And I'm feeling
I am boiling hot.
incredibly
Not just that, my
sweaty.
boss just randomly rang me as well, which is a
Oh,
bit worrying.
it's a Saturday.
He rang me on his personal mobile as well, so
Does he know it's a Saturday?
he does know it's that. That's why it's kind of a bit concerning.
Oh, that's
Ooh-wee.
fun. Ooh-wee. Well, then we will call this an episode. Did you have fun? Oh wait, sorry. At the end of the episode, you must answer. Okay, what do you rate me out of 10?
Well, I said 9.5 earlier.
Yeah.
9.75.
Excellent, thank you. I hope you
Yeah.
had fun. It was fun to
I
talk
did.
about stuff and things and scary stuff.
Super stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
Kay,
Thank you for having me.
you are dismissed.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, gamers. We're going to go raid Jack because very shortly in the next couple hours, I will probably be cutting his hair. All right, we are back tomorrow with some Minecraft. We'll be doing some Minecraft with the besties tomorrow. I am going to go sit in front of a fan, honestly. I'm going to go sit in front of a fan. I hope you had fun. It was fun. It was fun getting to do an Ooee with my papa. Darwin, thank you very much for the 100 babies. We will be having pics on at some point, but I'll be honest, this will probably now not be until August because I am away pretty much as soon as Pix gets back. So I don't think we're going to be able to squeeze it in. But yes. Goodbye. Don't die of heat, gamers, and go be lovely to Jack. Hello, hello. Goodbye, goodbye.